Hello, are you here to debate?
Yeah, I am. Oh, it actually worked. Finally.
All right, can I just get your name, age, and pronouns, please?
Well, the pronoun thing, I'll probably leave that out. But my name is Daniel. I'm 22 years old, and I'm from California. So I think you're from Florida, correct?
Yeah, what were your pronouns, though?
I'm just a dude, man.
Sure, but what do you go by?
I don't do that.
You don't use pronouns?
No. I'm not in that camp, bro.
Okay, can you sure, but in order for me to proceed, can you tell me you don't use pronouns without using a pronoun?
I don't use
Nope, just
what?
used a
I
pronoun
mean,
just then. You just used a pronoun. Don't use pronouns to tell me that you use pronouns.
I don't use pronouns. There you
Yep,
go.
just used a pronoun.
Well,
Just use
no,
another one.
bro. I mean, no. It's like I'm
Oh, there's
not.
another one right
I
there.
don't.
Oh, another one right there.
All right, whatever. Just let's just continue on with the debate. Like, I'm just here to debate. I'm not here to discuss any about this pronoun stuff.
Sure, you just don't. I just think it's a little disingenuous to start a conversation when your first claim is that like I don't use pronouns. But sure, are you gonna vote for the enemy of the
I
people,
just,
Donald Trump?
I am actually. So 3 days. So I'm really excited for that, and definitely voting all the way red. Don't think California is going to turn even like. It's not even going to be likely Democrat. It's definitely going to be like solid blue, like it always is. But I do think that it'll definitely have a less of a margin of what it voted for in 2020, 2016. I just think more people are like just waking up to like what they see on the media. Like the media is completely disingenuous. Like everyone knows that it is just honestly, I'm gonna agree with him. It's the enemy of the people. Like literally, like everyone knows CNN, CBS,
All right.
all these
I'm
news.
sorry. Can you just give me like a concrete reason? Like, look, we'll start with just one. What is one concrete reason that you believe voting for Donald Trump is a better decision in this upcoming election?
Well, I think that he stands for what America values are. So, for example, like I think that if you look at the two candidates, right? Like, well, and so first off, like I'm not 100% Republican. I'm not. I wouldn't even consider myself conservative either because I know people like to just, it's black or white, right? You're either Democrat, conservative, whatever it is. I'm not in that camp. Like for me, I'm just America first. Like I just want the best for America and what is the best for everyone, who's here.
Okay,
And
so
that's what I think that
really
he
quickly,
stands
because
for.
I want us to boil down on these things that you say, right, before we get too far away from them. You said that
Yeah, yeah.
Donald Trump upholds American values. What would those values be?
Okay, so first, it's like I just think he's more of the embodiment of what America is, like the American spirit. Like the thing about with Democrats and liberals and stuff like that, you guys don't embody what America is.
Sorry,
Like
I'm not a
you guys
liberal,
have,
but
you guys
what would
are.
that be? Can you be specific and not just say like vague talking points? Like what would those what is American values? What are the things that he embody that are American? Like what are these things?
Well, for example, freedom of speech, gun ownership, land ownership, things like that. Like
You think
The
Donald Trump is for
American dream.
freedom of speech?
Of course he is. Yeah. I
Absolutely
mean, if you're
not.
gonna say that liberals are freedom of speech, bro, like you're drinking
Can
the
you
coke
okay, so
way.
Donald, let's analyze these. Donald Trump specifically said that he would like to jail people for up to 1 year if they burn the American flag. Burning the American flag is a constitutional version of free speech. It's considered protest. It's considered by the Supreme Court that it is free speech. What has Kamala Harris or the current administration done to limit to even insinuate that they want to limit free speech in this way?
So here's where I'm in the camp for that, right? So like I agree, it is freedom of speech when you burn a flag. It can be a freedom of speech. It can be freedom of speech. But I think the thing is like in other countries, like if you do shit like that, right? Like you get thrown in jail. And necessarily I don't want something to happen like that. Like I don't think like somebody just burning the flag or stepping on it. It is disrespectful. It 100% is disrespectful. Like, like you live here and it is your freedom of speech. And so, I mean, if he really wanted to do that, he would have done it in his first term. And so on the
So
other hand, you
again,
have the Democrats.
hold on. So again, this is so he has said this recently. This is a new position that he has recently. Now, I don't think he would ever be able to accomplish this, right? But I do think his rhetoric that he wants to is a problem and would show that he doesn't embody American values such as freedom of speech. But you've confirmed with me that yes, he does want to remove people's freedom of speech. So I'm glad that we've confirmed this. What
No, he
has
has no, he
I'm
didn't
sorry,
anything like that. Wait, so that's
when
the
he
thing. See, this
says
is
I
what
want to
this
throw people
is
in
what
jail for a
you do.
year for burning the American
Yeah, yeah.
flag, do you
So,
agree that this would be a violation
okay,
of free speech?
but I didn't even finish any of my points. But this is what you do. It's like you take questions, or like when I say something, I'm not even finished talking. You say your questions, and that way you can like kind of have a rebuttal towards it. But I haven't even finished speaking
Well,
my
yeah,
point completely because
because you weren't
yeah,
answering
after
the
I finish
question. You
my
were obfuscating away from it.
well, no, because I'm telling you how it is. It's like I told you. I don't. First thing for me, if I was on the extreme end of it, because I'm a huge patriot. I literally love this country to death. Literally, my grandparents were World War II veterans. Really patriotic. Have American flags all over my house, and just like literally love this country to death. But and so that's what I think. I think honestly, if someone's burning the flag, if it was up to me, and sure you can tell me I'm an extremist, whatever. If it was up to me, yeah, I'd throw you in the slammer, 100%.
Great. So you agree, like I
Yeah, so
said,
me,
that this would
personal.
wait. So here's the issue. So here's why I interrupted you and why I think it was a good thing that I did. I didn't ask what you personally believe, right? When it comes to freedom of speech means the government cannot throw you in prison, arrest you, limit what you can do when it comes to speech, protest, media, things like this. Donald Trump's claim that he wants to throw people in jail for burning the American flag directly goes against this. Directly. It is in direct opposition to our First Amendment right of free speech. You agree that he wants to do it. You agree that you want to do it. So your claim that you uphold American values and the way that you uphold those American values are by freedom of speech would be a false claim because you would like to limit the free speech of people just like Donald Trump would like to.
Well, so that's the thing. Is like if I to me, I know for a fact I'm 100% more extreme on the end of it. I'm not backing down from it. I am like I definitely do have more of an extreme view than most people. That's why I've always wanted to do this debate because like socialists or liberals who are, and then to me. But the thing is like obviously I can compromise with it. Like yeah, sure. Like if you don't, we don't have to throw people in jail for that or whatever because again, it is freedom of speech. It really is. And so again, I'm not on the fence or I'm not on the fence about it because if it was up to me, I would like that. But because obviously that's not reasonable and it's not reality, then of course we're not going to do, we're not going to do things like that. And again, of course, if he was such a horrible person, such a dictator, such a person who, you guys
I don't think
equate
he
to
was a
Hitler
dictator.
and stuff like that, he would have done this in his first term.
Okay,
So
so a
again,
few
like
things.
it's just, you're
Hold
just,
on. A few things. You are obfuscating away from the point that you made, which was he embodies American values and all that it is to be an American. This would mean his character would also have to uphold the things that you view as American. If he wants to limit free speech, his character does not uphold American values.
but that's the
Now,
thing. It's
now
like,
I
okay,
don't
so
think Trump was a
out of
dictator in his
one point,
first term.
but
Wait, I'm going to respond to the last thing you said. I don't think Trump was a dictator in his first term because I think he had people around him that were interceding and preventing him from doing things. He doesn't have those people anymore. He's surrounded himself with yes men whose whole goal is to install Trump into an authoritarian position in the US government.
hmm yeah, I know you. I mean, I know that that's your point. Like, you think that in whatever, that's fine. But the thing is like you see how it's black and white, right? You think he is authoritarian, you think he's totalitarian, whatever it is, and you think he's dictator. He'll be a dictator, whatever, in his next term. The thing is like, so is that why you think? Do you think that Kamala and like all these Democrats, like they're just like the good guys, like they're just the saviors of
I think
America and
Kamala
everything like
Harris and the
that?
Democrats want to continue to engage with uh, the checks and balances that exist within our governmental system. This is why Joe Biden hasn't tried to push through anything that Congress doesn't approve, especially when it comes to budgetary decisions. Donald Trump wants to ignore all of that.
That's the thing is like we have come so far to the point where like everyone knows this, and that's what I think. That's what I think your problem is. It's like you're putting so much stake and faith in our government, which everyone knows. I mean, people who actually don't know, they I don't know if you don't think that the government is corrupt. I hope you do, because it sounds like you're just thinking that, like, when it sounds like you say that Democrats, like, it just sounds like you're not acknowledging that they're corrupt. Both sides are corrupt. Republicans are corrupt. Democrats are corrupt. I don't even like everybody on the Republican side. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene's annoying. Lauren Bobart is annoying. I don't like I don't like any of those people. I only like selected people, people that are just, for America, or at least that I think that are for America.
So
I'm not
I
even
feel like you're not engaging with the things that I'm saying. I didn't say the government wasn't corrupt. I don't like the government to begin with. I said that Democrats seem to want to engage in a system of checks and balances more than the Republicans, and I gave direct examples of this. Your retort was, well, you don't think the government's corrupt, so you lose. Give me examples of the Democrats breaking checks and balances.
Breaking checks and balances, or being corrupt, or being corrupt.
We weren't talking about corruption. You brought up corruption to deflect from the point that I made, which was I believe that Donald Trump is trying. Let me lay out my position very, very, very clearly. Donald Trump is trying to undermine the U.S. democratic process by centralizing power in the executive branch and foregoing the checks and balances that would exist outside of this centralization. The Democrats are not trying to do this currently.
So he's trying to undermine the democratic process, you're saying. So I'm going to use that point, right? Okay, correct. So if you want to talk about undermining the democratic process, literally Democrats taking or not allowing RFK to have a base in the Democratic Party, literally them trying to take Trump off of the ballot, regardless of whether he's a felon or not, that's besides the point. So if we're talking about undermining democracy, so what is your opinion, or what is your rebuttal to not allowing people to vote who they want to vote for president, taking him off the ballot?
Here's my rebuttal. The DNC and the RNC are private businesses. They do not have to put any. The DNC and the RNC are not the Democratic Party, or they're not the checks and balances in the government. The DNC has a specific, and the RNC as well, have very specific guidelines for how you get put on the nomination, how you get put on the tickets, and they're private businesses. If they don't want to put someone on the ticket, they don't have to. Whether I agree with this or not, this is not an undermining of our democratic process, because RFK could still run for president and ran on an independent ticket.
Draw pick things that are but they're private businesses. It's just like the whole thing with Twitter. Remember when Jack Dorsey owned Twitter? He was Twitter CEO. The whole thing was, they can take Trump off of Twitter all they want
because they could. Because they could, and they were.
True. Yes. 100%. They can take him off. They can deplatform 100%. But now that Elon, for somebody like Elon, and again, I don't really like Elon. He's whatever. He's funny, kind of sometimes. But now that Elon owns Twitter, and now that he bans, certain people here and there, I mean, it's definitely a more freer speech platform. It's not fully free speech. It's not something
it's 100% not. Elon has gone on a concerted effort to ban journalists who aren't even breaking TOS just because he doesn't.
No, there are people who are breaking TOS. There are literally people who say that people, and so that's the thing. It's kind of in blurred lines, because if you're, for example, if you release something that's public information, that's fine. You can do something like that. But if you're actually releasing public information in an attempt to do something malicious towards somebody, dox somebody or get people to go to some address, then yeah, that's breaking TOS. But regardless of the point, besides the point.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm just again, there were tons of journalists when Elon took over who were banned, who did not break TOS. They did not break TOS once.
But again, remember, we're going back to the point that it's his platform. He can deplatform anybody he wants.
He can. I'm not saying he cannot. I'm saying Elon Musk, when he makes the claims that X is about free speech, this is a lie. He bought X and has been using X simply as a campaign platform for Donald Trump. That's the entire reason he bought this company. There's no other reason.
I mean, he barely uses Twitter, or he barely, I'm not even going to call it X, but he barely uses Twitter. Trump, now.
I didn't say Trump did use Twitter. I said Elon Musk bought Twitter and is using it as a platform to campaign for Donald Trump. There's a reason why Twitter tends now to skew to showing right-leaning content far more than left. There's a reason why Elon Musk will retweet, as the head of a company, are AI, like artificially AI generated videos that push for Donald Trump. Like there's a reason why these things happen. It is not because he's a bastion of free speech, because he doesn't actually care about free speech. It is the fact that he wants Trump to win, mostly probably because he's a billionaire and he wants more money.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't really think that. I mean, I do think the platform is definitely, well, again, you're not going to agree with me, but the platform is a lot more freer speech, just from the simple fact of like when you have like those check notes at the bottom of something that's like, you know, like not something that's maybe misinformed or whatever. I mean, Elon gets those check marks at the bottom all the time. Like he even his own platform fact checks him or whatever. So just that being there is already alone more technically more better information, and on top of that, freer speech.
Yeah, so I would disagree.
And
I would disagree that community notes. Wait, again, yes, there have been multiple journalists who were banned off the platform who did not break TOS. We've already gone through that, right? They did not break TOS, yet they were still banned. Okay, it's happened before. I think when it comes to, but also when it comes to freedom of speech, I don't really give a fuck what Twitter does, because freedom of speech isn't about how you engage in public spaces with private people. It's about whether the government can or cannot limit your ability to criticize, speak, protest, etc., etc. And I have laid out to you examples of Donald Trump quite literally saying how he wants the government to be able to limit this. You have not been able to lay out how the Democrats have wanted this.
I just did. I literally did many points ago.
No, you didn't.
But that's the thing. It's like use a cover. They use the cover of like, oh, it's democracy, and like this like shield of like saying, oh, the people's vote, this and that, when they're the least disingenuous towards the people voting whatsoever. Like you said, it's a private business. Of course, that's just a.
So because it's a private business, and because it's not the DNC is not the government. The Democratic National Convention is not the government. I'm sorry, bro. The DNC is not the government. So the DNC making a decision about how they're going to run their primaries is not the government violating your free speech.
Shield, dog. You're using that as a shield because you're saying
I'm not using it as what is freedom of speech?
You're a self-proclaimed socialist, so I don't know
what is freedom of speech.
I don't know people, but that's the thing. The problem with Democrats, the problem with
what is freedom of speech?
They love.
I'm going to keep asking this question until you answer it.
They love to say that they're for the people's
vote. I'm going to keep asking this question. You can try to steamroll. It's not going to work. What is freedom of speech? What is freedom of speech? What is freedom of speech? What is freedom of speech?
Are you going to answer the question or not?
What is freedom of... You have not answered my question, so why would I answer yours?
No, I'm asking the question.
What is freedom of speech?
How is that the people's vote?
What is freedom of speech?
Vote for whether you like it or not.
What is freedom of speech?
I'm just asking.
I know because you can't. I know because you realize that you can't win this conversation, so you had to pivot to a different one. When it comes to the DNC clearly lays out. I'll answer your question even though you can't answer mine because I know because you're just being disingenuous. When it comes to the DNC makes its own rules on policy positions on how they run their elections. When it comes to Kamala Harris being put in, the DNC clearly has it laid out in their guidelines that when a incumbent president resigns, the delegates now get to put their delegate votes wherever they want. Do you know where the delegates decided to put their votes? Kamala Harris. If the delegates had decided to put their votes somewhere else, that person would have been in running.
But why not have an open convention?
None of this has anything to do with freedom of speech. You're not answering the questions. None of this has anything to do with freedom of speech. No, it doesn't.
People don't have speech to vote for who they want.
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. You can vote third party. You can vote somebody else. You don't have to vote Kamala Harris. The government isn't limiting who you vote for. You don't know what you're talking about. Can you please tell me what free speech is? That's the only thing I want to hear. I want to hear zero other things. I don't want to hear anything else. I want you to tell me what freedom of speech is.
You're allowed to vote for.
I don't want to hear anything else out of your mouth except telling me what freedom of speech is. That's all I want to hear. I did answer your question. Now it's your turn. What is freedom of speech?
Because
you have 5 seconds to answer this question. The question is on freedom of speech. So me asking you how... Stop talking. The question is on freedom of speech. So me asking you to define what freedom of speech is not pivoting, you fucking moron. Tell me what freedom of speech is. You have 5 seconds, or I'm moving on because I don't need to talk to disingenuous teenagers who don't know what they're talking about. So explain to me what freedom of speech is. You have 5 seconds. 5,
bro, like on
4.
Well, you can hang up.
3, 2, 1. Thank you. You couldn't answer the question. Bye. Fucking unbelievable, dude. It's a very simple question. What is freedom of speech? You guys want the answer? Freedom of speech is where the government cannot interfere or retaliate or punish you for saying something. So the DNC, not the government, putting up somebody for the election is not limiting your freedom of speech.